Today I'll be taking a look at the Silverstone Precision Mid ATX Black case. It's a Precision Series PS04. It fits ATX and micro ATX boards. It has 4 external 5 1/4 inch drive bays. It has 1 external 3 1/2 inch drive bay, 5 internal 3 1/2 inch drive bays. The case is packaged with some pretty heavy-duty foam. It has a glossy sort of powder coat looking finish on the outside, and the front plastic bezel is a matte sort of contrast. 2 USB 2.0 on the front panel, 1 headphone jack and 1 microphone jack on the front panel. All of the external bay covers are solid, there's no airflow through them. It has 7 PCI Express slots. It only comes with 1 fan mounted though. The back has 1 120mm fan. There are 2 grommets for water cooling, but they're hard plastic. You'll have to take them right out. The top of the case is plain black. There's no window on the side. The bottom has plain rubber feet. There's a small square cutout for airflow in the bottom of the case, and 2 raised gouges to hold up the power supply. Behind the front bezel there is a spot for a 120mm fan. The front panel is screen mesh, but it's not what I would call an air filter. Covers for the slots for the drive bay are a hard plastic, again, a matte finish. It's all toolless for drive bay to secure drives. It has a very minimalist feel. There's a relatively small cutout on the back of the motherboard tray for mounting coolers. The cable length is a good length for the size of case for the front panel and the USB. Inside of the optical bay there are a few options for routing cables out through the back. Behind the drive bays there is about an inch of room, and you have about a 1/4 inch room behind the optical bays. All of the cables for your power supply are going to have to run behind that spot. There's not a lot of room behind the motherboard tray, and there's a long metal curl that adds stability to the tray but also blocks any cables from getting through except for the top and bottom. You see there's a small gap at the top and the bottom to run cables through if you absolutely have to, but there's virtually no space at the back of the motherboard tray. Not going to be any real options except for the top and the bottom, and the door panel touches this metal curl, so there's no chance of getting any cables on that side of the curl without either bending the door or the motherboard tray. Comes with a manual, some screws, and standoffs for the motherboard. All in all, this case is not a bad case, but there are better cases in that same price range. The paint job on this case is really fairly cheap. That's probably my biggest complaint with it. I would go with either an Apex Vortex or a V3 Black, with the Vortex coming first. I'll be reviewing an Antec 1 in the near future. I would say the Antec 1 is probably the better of all the cases in this price range. This is Daedalus PC.